Yes, so today the topic was gender. And yesterday we already went into it a little bit. Today we want to go a bit deeper. And then that's why we also have two people here, myself and I also asked for support from Jan Evalo to bring a little bit male's perspective, as you've been talking to Trine for now already for 7 days. And females see things in one perspective, males a little bit different, and it's good, but it is so. But what does it then mean, acknowledge somebody according to a true gender, or to be more precise, what is the issue with it? So, and why we specifically chose this topic, because also, if you maybe remember from yesterday, what we are talking about is gender, but then also what we're talking about is polarities. So gender, female, male. Today we have in some context and in some countries many more genders. I think even 72 or something like that. However, we mainly refer within the context of this challenge and within the context of Kukuniti School for Self-Development, we mainly refer to men and women, so two genders, but we also talk about polarities, which is female polarity and a male polarity. And so how do these things mix together, and what do they have to do with each other, and how to use it to your advantage? So this is what today's topic is about. And if you remember, when also your task for today was different for males and females, and specifically in that context, we're talking about polarity, so not anymore from the gender. However, it typically so is, but men tend to be most of their time and realize their potential within the male polarity, and women tend to be most of the time and realize their potential within the female polarity. However, within ourselves, it's a half and half split, as we also talked about yesterday. So one of the problems which we are trying to address today also is the fact that if you look around nowadays, when men are afraid to be men and women are afraid to be women. So and we can even say that the strengths which men have and the strengths which women have are used against them. So it's made something which is non-desirable. So if we talk about women, for example, well, we all kind of know that women are more emotional than men, which is a good thing. However, this is very strongly used against women in any, let's say, discussion where you can end discussion very easily, just saying that, hey, you're just being emotional, you're not rational at all. Which is actually good if women allow this to happen. However, somehow social conditioning says, hey, this is not a good thing to have, you should be rational. And same with men. So men, for example, tend to enjoy life more easily than women. And they also tend to be more stronger physically. And currently, again, this is something which is very often used against them. So if you enjoy life, then you're not taking life seriously, and you act as a little boy. So there's like, even though this is something which we all should do in life, is to enjoy it. Once if you do it, the society doesn't necessarily look good upon it. So this is one kind of issue, which is the face value issue between the genders. So instead of having a collaboration between men and female, what we very often have is a competition between men and women. So because one is trying to outsmart or outcompete the other, and instead of then having a intelligent cooperation, we have competition. So now if I talk about intelligent cooperation, now I'm talking about collaboration between the polarities, which we divide into a male polarity and into a female polarity. And within the different polarities, we're also talking about different awarenesses. So, and any of us, both whether you're a man or whether you're a woman, have both awarenesses inside you. So you can choose to be in a male awareness, you can choose to be in a female awareness. But now if we talk about intelligent collaboration between the two, then in that case, the awareness is always relative to each other. So as soon as one assumes and takes the male awareness, then the other one within the intelligent collaboration framework needs to take the female polarity. And then the collaboration between these two polarities can take place. And if it does happen, and if it works nicely, it feels almost like magic, because now all of a sudden, instead of competition, you actually have what you would call collaboration. And these polarities can switch easily within the conversation. So it can go from the place where, let's say, a man is in the male polarity, but end up in the place where a man is in the female polarity. So it always is relative, and the context comes from what is being discussed or what has been done. So fairly complicated. Let's make it more practical. Just wanted to give you a little bit of this background information from where we're coming from. We did warn you yesterday, but today it's going to be more controversial. So it is very controversial to say that, hey, if you're a man, don't be afraid to be a man. Now in today's life, don't be afraid to take the lead. Don't be afraid to be strong. So, or if you're a woman, don't be afraid to show your emotions. So this is very controversial, which we promised, and that's why it also maybe sounds more difficult than it is. Coming back to today's task and taking it from the perspective of awareness and taking it from the perspective of the polarities, then if you're in the male polarity, and for the sake of the exercise, my recommendation is that if you're a man, then it's easier to practice being in the male polarity. If you're in a woman, it's easier to practice being in the female polarity. So for today, at least that's my recommendation, even though you can easily be both and you're good in both of those roles. But just so that you could get the taste and understanding why does it matter in terms of intelligent cooperation. So if you're a male, and I'm addressing males first, it is your job to initiate the intelligent cooperation with the female. And the female doesn't have to be a woman. It's just a polarity. So you are taking and claiming the leadership role within this one interaction and with this one topic, and you go and initiate the intelligent cooperation. So today, our suggestion was to talk about the dreams. So me initiating an intelligent cooperation with my partner would be going to her and saying, hey, I want to share my dreams with you. So I already have initiated an intelligent cooperation. Another task for a male polarity within any collaboration is to contain. So if we're talking about a certain topic, it's my job as a male to make sure that we stay within this one topic. So this is called containment. And very often what happens is that the conversation starts to flow. So it's not anymore on the road. And this is what the containment doesn't look like, right? So if you want to contain, then your job is to hold the focus within the topic which we wanted to discuss. Today, it's about the dreams. And then last but not least, the job of the male is to make it practical. So which means taking an action. So if we talk about dreams, for example, today, what we actually want in this intelligent cooperation is not just to share our dreams, but we also want to have the feedback from the female polarity. So what they feel about it, how they think about it. Do they see something which we don't see? And now I'm switching to female polarity. So what is female polarity very good at, which males do not know how to do? If we're talking about polarities and not gender, is females can go into the unknown. So this is what we say about if we say there's known and there's unknown. Unknown is bringing something onto the table based on your emotions and feelings and thoughts without filtering. So this is what we're talking about, the unknown. So, and that's why the containment is so important in this context, is that females do not need to contain themselves. So if you're a female in a conversation or in a situation in the female polarity, you're a good support in that role if you say and bring everything which you have about this particular topic. Any feelings, any thoughts, could be completely irrational. It could be coming from a completely different angle, maybe a completely different topic. This is okay to throw it on the table. And this is kind of being irrational, and that also allows us, being irrational allows us to bring things from the unknown. And from the unknown, in the perspective of the male, or for the male, this information becomes valuable once he starts to make it practical. So female are very good at bringing their feelings, emotions, options on the table, thoughts, but also in the support. So supporting means, one way, if you're in a female, you can always ask from the male, how can I support you? Or you can also come up your own plan. What would be a good support in order this collaboration to happen in the most, I don't know, efficient way, or whatever you choose at that moment to be. So if I want to now wrap it up, is what is a good support, which is, by the way, interestingly enough, the management model which Amazon is also using is that if a female supports male within his action, then the best support that female can say is, hey, I support you even if I don't like it. So this is what the real support is. So since it's a job of a male to make things practical, when male does something, male decides something, and the female in intelligent collaboration supports what the male has decided. So now we're talking about polarity. So let's keep that in mind. And this is it from today. I know that I threw a lot upon you, Janna-Veela. I would ask you to maybe also chip in, like what in terms of what would you like to add, and then we will go into the questions and answers. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Alexander. Very interesting topic, of course. Let's see. Well, first off, I feel that it's important to acknowledge that if it is the male's role to take the lead, to point out the direction and prescribe the method to be employed, then whatsoever that lead may be, it has to include the female, right? It also and always has to include the female, and it must demonstrate that he is considering and careful of her needs as well, because otherwise it's easy to assume that that the male can maybe impose himself, or yeah, basically that. No, so I feel that that's an important point. Right, and perhaps add to this that if the male has these three key aspects, that he provides a lead, points out the direction, and prescribes the method to be employed, then for her, the female offers a counterbalance. She complements him in every respect, and she offers support. I think perhaps we can go into one of these key aspects of the female. Counterbalance, I'll take for now. How does the female offer counterbalance? Well, my experience in this regard is that the female can offer a negative perspective on the issue, or on the lead proposed. I think it's important for us men to acknowledge that for the female to be truly female, she has to be negative, right? When I talk to men and women about the problems that they have in their relationship, this often comes up a lot in the lives of men. They say that the female is negative. Oh, she's so negative, right? But this is actually something positive if we can see it as support, as a counterbalance. Yes, this is perhaps my contribution. Is there any other way in which I could support you, Alexander?
Thank you, Anne-Valo. I think that was great.